Welcome back to Simrai Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. So in this class I'll be showing you how to sew these strips systematically and still have a perfect inseam finishing for the back. So if you look at the back, you can see it's turned neatly with lining. So this is a demonstration tutorial. Okay, so the main thing is to learn the tips and tricks to turning and having a perfect finishing. So if you look here, you can see there is no part that is rough. This is the lining or the inside, and it's neat, and the front is also neat. Okay, so I just made a few pieces of this, and this was made in a hurry. But then if you learn the tips, just try and arrange your strips, so they will be straight on the same line. The strips are supposed to be on the same line. Okay, so if this is what you want to learn, please stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. I'm done cutting my patterns for the skirt. So I have the center front unfold, lining and fabric. So I'm going to transfer all these notches I made. I'm going to use this to sew the strip at strategic positions. So I just go ahead and make chalk marks on the front piece. So wherever I have the chalk mark, that's where. So if you are working on both, like I said, I'm just making one side, I'm not working on all. So I'll take off this pattern now. I added my necessary seam allowance. This is my lining. I'll set it aside to turn. Then you can transfer, you can do this. Just do this. Can you see what I'm doing? So wherever you have that chalk mark, definitely that is where the marks are transferred. So you can see I transferred it. So if I'm sewing on the whole of them, I'll just keep them this way. Can you see? I'm placing it this way, and that is how I'm going to sew them. I'm placing them this way at 2 inches interval. I believe you understand. So at 2 inches interval, that's why I have to go in 1 inch 1 inch. So when I open it, this center front, I have 2 inches 2 inches gap. So that is if I'm sewing the full of it. But I'm not making the full of it, I'm just making half of it. So I'll just take off this, and I want to show you how to bring the one that is on the side for the, because the side piece is the most important part. So I'll pin it. You can see how I'm pinning it to secure it, because I'll just go ahead and sew. This is the front piece. So I will bring in the back. This is the back pattern that is going to be joined to this particular side. Can you see? So I'll just take off the, before I take off the pattern, please, I added 0.1 inch 1 inch for seam allowance. So I'll just simply make my chalk mark on the front piece, then take off this pattern piece. This is my lining for the back. Of course, you need a full lining to achieve this if you want to achieve it professionally. So please don't forget the part that is side and the part that is zipper. The part that is zipper, I'll make mark like this, so when I'm joining, I'll know the zip, and the other will be the back. Then I'll go ahead and do what? Raise it up and make these marks. Can you see? Make these marks, make them. Okay, so I'm working on only this. Okay, so whatever we do here, we'll do there as well. So I'll just come in and place them and pin. Okay, so if you're working on both sides, you also do the same thing I'm doing here for this as well. So I'll pin, because I just want to go to the machine and sew at once. I don't want a situation where I'll be taking them one after the other. So make sure you pin, you have pinned. So this is the part that we are going to join. This side at 1 inch, we'll join them together. So by the time you join it together, we have the back and the front piece. Okay, then we have here to sew our zipper. So I'll keep this and I'll come to A. Remember, we are working on A and this is the upper part of A. So this is A and I placed A on fold, which is the center front. And right now I'm going to make notch to determine my center front. Very important. Make notch to determine your center front. So as it is now, I'll repeat the same thing. Mark. This one I'm marking up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'm marking only on the parts we are working on. So I'm making up and down. So if you're working for front and back, simply do what? Transfer. Raise it up and transfer the way we've been doing. So make sure your marks are complete. Okay, so remember that with this one will be attached, so we don't even need to mark the up, only mark the back, please. This mark should be only for the back, okay, because the up we are going to sew it on top of that, and you see how we are going to do it. So I'll take off my pin now. This is the down piece and we've placed our mark, and I'm taking my A pattern away. So I'll still place it this way and secure with my pin. I'll place this way, secure with my pin. Sorry, I need to open up. Remember, our center front was notched, so you have to open up. So you have to transfer this the way I did if you are doing the full of it, but note that the notch part is the center front, so you have to do that before you pin. So I'll just go ahead and pin and pin and pin. Okay, so I also cut lining. This is the lining of it, which I'm going to use to turn this. So please don't forget. So I pinned here. So I'm looking at what I have here. Okay, I'm going into the back. So I'll just pin. Okay, so of course you understand what I mean. I'll just pin and pin. So I will go now to sew what I have here first. Okay, I also realized something. This marks has to be here. This part that we pinned, this part that we already pinned, I already have pin. I'm taking the pins away. I'm taking it. We are not supposed to sew it here. Okay, please, I just realized that everything will be sewn on this center one. On this center one. That's the only way we can achieve this perfectly. So I'm going to repin. So I've pinned this one. Just watch at what I'm doing. I've pinned this one this way. I'll raise it up and pin this one facing it. That's the right way. All these strips will be sewn on the center one. Then we'll now turn them. So I'll raise this one and do what? Pin on this. Okay, I just thought of it now. Okay, that is the right way to do that. Then that part I pin for the back. I'm bringing it back, the back, which is this. Okay, I'll take it off. Please, that is the right way. The center one will carry all the strips, So you just go ahead and place it this way and pin here and pin here. Okay, so I'll just pin all of them now. I'll go to the machine and sew them and bring it back for you to see, then show you how to turn it effectively. All right, so you can see what I did here now. I have to place them, sew them, that way, all of them laying this way. So this is how they are going to look like. This is the center front. I'll bring the lining and face right side to right side. This is the right side of the lining and the center front. So I'll just close it up and pin. So if you are working from center back to center back, remember this is center front, and we merge it together to sew. So that means you are going to sew your strip all through this way, but I'm using one side to show you, and I believe so. I'm pinning them now. So if you can pin to the end, you can do that. So I'll just turn it to the back right away, and I'm going to carefully make sure you don't step on this. As you are sewing, you'll be pushing it in. All I need to do is to ensure I hold the lining and the fabric. So I'll quickly go and sew it now, and I'll bring it back for you. All right, so this is what it looks like. So if assuming I'm finishing to the end, I could have done all of this to the end, but since I'm sewing just right from this point, I'll just go ahead and turn it and give it a good press. So I'll quickly turn it, give it a good press, then I'll bring it back to show you how it's going to look like. So if I'm doing to the end of it, I'll just open up everything, turn. I'll just do that. All right, so now I'm done sewing, okay, turning and ironing. So just because I'm doing this in a hurry, okay, so the lines are supposed to be on the same line. So please, when you are doing this, make sure they are on the same line, okay. But for tutorial purpose, as least you know how to go about it right now. So this is how the center will look like. Then we are going to join the lower piece, okay. So note that this remains our center front. So for the center front here, I'm going to place notches on lining and fabric. I'll place notches on lining and fabric, then take off my pin. So this is the upper piece, and before you take off your pin, so since you are working on upper piece, please mark out your lines, okay. So this was the part I was explaining, that you need to be careful when sewing so it doesn't lay slanted. So you have to be careful and place it and pin it very well so it lays straight for you. So this is the lining of it, and this is the right side. So I'll just go ahead, bring this one, flip it this way. Can you see? So if I flip it, I'll find the marks and start pinning them again, one after the other, and I'll go to the machine and sew. So I'll just go to my machine now. I'll be picking them. So that's why I said you need to make sure these lines are on the same place. So because this is where I have them, I have no choice now but to sew them on the lines I have. So let me quickly go and run straight stitches on them, then I'll bring it back to show you how to turn the down part with lining. So I've gone ahead to sew on this one. So when I turn it now to the right side, this is what I will have. Can you see that? So please arrange these things. I'm particular about it, okay. So I'm actually doing it in a hurry. So if I'm taking my time, I'll make sure I pin them, have them on a straight line. So you can see what we have right here. So now what we have right here, as we placed it, we are going to get the lining pieces of this. This is the lining pieces, and I'll also match our center front line to center front, place it right on top here, and I'll go to the back and follow this line and stitch. Okay, so I'll do that and give it a good press, and I'll bring it back for you to see. Now it was this way when I stitched, and the part that is for the lining, you can see my top stitches, so I top stitched that part. So by the time I lay the part that is lining and the part that is front, this is what we are going to have on the down part of this skirt. So for a good or perfect inseam finishing, okay, because I wouldn't want a situation where I'll start folding this in to sew on top. That will not look nice. So this is what you are going to do. Just go ahead and tuck this in. Tuck everything you have in. Just try your best and tuck in and sew at 0.5. So I'll tuck it in, sew at 0.5, turn it back, then give it a good. I've tucked it in neatly, and I'm going to also turn it. Okay, I tucked everything in and stitched the hem. So I'll just go ahead and turn it from here. Can you see that? Then I'll now go and give it a good press. So whatever I'm doing here, you have to do it on the whole of this. So I'll just go ahead, give it a good press, take my time, press it down. You might also insert your hemming gum if you wish, or you can use hemming gum to sew it so it lays flatter and nicer, especially on the hem. You can use hemming gum to sew on the when you were sewing it before turning, so when I iron it lays flat for me. Okay, so this is the hem part of it. I'll give it a good press now, and we'll come over to sew the upper part. So since we are working on it right away, I'll bring in my upper part. This is center front upper piece, and this remains our center front upper piece. So I'll just go ahead and match from here and bring in the side. Okay, so this is our zipper, which is the center back. So I'll start matching. So this is how I'm going to sew this right away. From this point I'll flip this way, then I'm going to pin on these lines. I'm going to pin on these lines. Okay, then I'll bring in this as well. Anywhere I have I have my strips, I'm going to pin on that line. So remember, we have 1 inch to sew this to this. You might also decide, this is another thing you can do, you might decide to go and sew the sides of your skirt, leaving the zipper part open before you do this. So you can just go ahead and sew. So I'll go and sew my 1 inch, so I'll be able to match up the sewing of this upper part, okay, nicely. So once I've matched it, I'll now lay and follow the marks and sew them. I'll quickly do that and bring it back for you to see. All right, people, so right now, as you can see, I'm done sewing them. That is this other channel. I've sewn it to the main upper piece of the skirt, but before I did that, I have to join my side. So I'll pick up my lining. This is the lining, so I'm going to find the part that matches for the center back. So this is my center back line, and this is the side. I have my mark, which is the zipper, so I'll place it this way because I'm going to follow this line to stitch lining to lining. So I'll also pick up my skirt. So make sure you note the part of your skirt that is on the upper piece, because they might actually look alike and confusing. So this is it, and I'll just go ahead now, right side to right side. So I'll still do what I did here, that is stitching the sides together. Then once I've stitched the sides together, I'll go ahead, turn this way and stitch and turn. All right, so I'm done ironing it, as you can see right here, and this is what the inside looks like. So you can see the inside is also neat with our perfect inseam finishing. So all you need to do is to sew your fabric to fabric, lining to lining, the way we do that. Turn it from the zipper line and then sew the zip. Okay, the zip is going to be sewn together with the lining. That's the only way we can do this to achieve a perfect result. Then serge the inside of it. So like I said, I just demonstrated half of it. So this other part that is unsewn, you have to mark and complete your strip to it. So this is it, the center front. If you have completed it now, this could have been the side of this skirt. Can you see the side of the skirt? The hipper part, this will be on the hip, and this will be at the center front with the continuation, and this other one could have been inside. I believe you understand what I'm saying right here. Okay, so that is it, and that is how to go about that. So thank you very much for coming. If this class was helpful to you, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends. Drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming, and see you in the next class. Bye.